Hey guys,
Okay.
recording. You're live, girl. Chapter 2. Here we
Okay.
go. So, the beginning of this chapter, I really wanted to kind of read this story, and I know that most of you have read it, but even for the people that haven't, just kind of refresher. I think it's kind of funny too, so it makes me kind of laugh. So, um, I'm just gonna kind of read it to you guys, okay? Real quick. Okay, let's say you want to put a nail in the wall, okay? Do you think you can do it? Sure you can. If you have the right tool. Now let's say because I really like you, I really believe in you, and I really want you to succeed because of all these reasons, I went out and I got you a very expensive, brand new, shiny chainsaw. Go ahead, put the nail in. Okay, that always makes me laugh. Chainsaw. Okay, you're saying, okay, I'm going to try. Um, he's successful, so I guess he must know what he's doing. Okay, you start hacking away with this shiny new chainsaw. And I ask, how's it going? Not so good. You reply, trying to hide the big gashes in the wall. What's the matter? I ask you. You mumble something about how you're having a rough time and struggling. So I exhort you and tell you that you should be doing it to get the nail in the wall. After all, I was able to do it. So I'm giving you lots of helpful advice like set your goals, visualize it, believe in yourself, work smarter, not harder. You can do it. How's it going now? Pretty much the same results. Notice that I'm being nice. I'm believing in you. I'm telling you things that should work. Now, what if I could see that even after all the wonder advice, you're still not getting the nail in the wall? Okay, tell you what. You can have any chainsaw you want. You get to pick whatever you want. I put you to a whole rack of chainsaw. Green ones, blue ones, small ones. Pick any chainsaw you want. So you reluctantly try the green one because, well, maybe that will do the trick. Then the big one, the small one. What happens? Same results. But how are you feeling right now? Are you motivated, excited, pumped, psyched to put that nail in the wall? Not exactly. You're probably saying to yourself, I'm never going to get this stupid nail in the wall. I don't know why. I just really liked to read that story because it totally put in perspective like what we kind of go through on a daily basis. You know, we're told to put the nail in the wall and we're given a chainsaw. So does anybody ever feel this way?
Do you want us to respond to that?
Yeah, that's a question. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I do. Um,
And why?
I feel like that at my job and in my business. In my job, because I'm tied to certain parameters, and I give advice and I give guidance all day long to our teachers, but they have to implement. So I feel like I'm stuck. Like I don't know where to go from there. And in my business, I feel like I give the advice. I'm a positive person. I can give the encouragement and I could be their cheerleader, but something's missing. And I don't feel like I know where to shift that into giving the right tools. I mean, we have the tools, but I don't know where to shift. And that's where I struggle.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move on from here now, okay? Because I don't really have an answer for you right now, but we're going to talk about, it's going to be an answer we find out through this book.
I think it's an answer I have to decide on I have to get that answer. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing is like the real problem is that is not that we can't do the job. Because, we can all put a nail in the wall. None of us would have any problems. And we all know that we're not talking about a real nail, right? We're not really talking about a nail. We're not really talking about a chainsaw. The real problem is that you're beating yourself up for not being able to do that job. When you've been given the tools that is completely wrong for the job and you're trying to do it. I don't mean to put you out Whitney, this kind of thought process just came into my mind. When Whitney first started her journey, she was explosive and she had this process of how she did things, and she did amazing. She tried to get other people to do the same thing that she was doing, but it wasn't working for everyone else. She had the right tools for herself to get where she wanted, but for all of us, we didn't have that same tool. And so we were trying to literally put a nail on the wall with a chainsaw. And it's not that it's a bad thing, and it's not bad on Whitney, and it's not bad on us, and it's not that we didn't want it. It's not that, I wanted to put the nail on the wall. I want to do it every day. So that's what I love about this book, is that we, through this whole journey, get to find that chainsaw that's going to help us. It's not going to be a chainsaw, obviously, to put the nail on the wall. Okay. All right. So how do you think this is going to apply to us with Plexus? Like, how is this thought process going to help us? Because we are constantly I don't know if you guys have this, but every day we're given stuff to do, tools. We're given inspiration. We're given all this stuff daily through Plexus. If you guys are even a part of the groups or anything, you're given stuff thrown at you every day on what to do. So how do you think this concept applies to us? Does that make any sense to you guys, what I'm saying?
Yeah, but can I add a thought too? Because I know, Tracy, I think what your comment was, like, you feel like you have all these resources, but you don't know how to use the right ones at the right time, or use the right resources in the right way. When in reality, like, that's not really what he's talking about. He's saying, like, because every single one of you has the potential in you to be a diamond. You guys are all smart enough. You guys are all caring enough. You guys are all hard workers. There's no reason that every single one of you can't be a diamond ambassador. But it's a subconscious issue that's holding you back. It's not that you don't have the right system. It's not that you're not applying it correctly or with the right people. It's not that you have the wrong network. It's that there's something in your subconscious that's holding you back from living out your true potential. Right?
That's actually the rest of the chapter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's totally fine. That's actually what we're going to be talking about. Okay. The rest of the chapter. No, it's totally awesome. I thought it was funny. I was like, that's it in a nutshell, pretty much. It's super awesome. Well, the reason why I feel like I always like to bring it back to Plexus is because, we have this book is definitely not Plexus specific, but we are as general Plexus specific people. And not that, I just like to bring it back and how we can apply this to ourselves and our business and stuff like that too. So we can actually, work towards that. That's the reason why I asked that question. So, let's just move on. Okay. So we have this assumption. Okay. So we have this assumption because we buy self-help books, we go to these seminars, and we do all this stuff, and we expect that because we do all this stuff, that we will start being successful, because we have this assumption that we're going to make an effort to learn all these qualities or learn all these how-tos to do these things, and we are going to be successful. So traditional success programs taught us how to succeed because traditional teachers assumed that you and I had more why to's of success than why not to success. Does someone want to explain what that means? Because that's why to's and why not to's are so confusing to some people. So do you want me to read that quote again and someone can explain it to me? Okay. So traditional success programs taught us how to succeed because traditional teachers assume that you and I had more why to's of success than why not to success. What does that mean?
Don't be afraid to call on people.
I'm going to
You guys
post.
better speak up or she's going to
Well, I just want you guys to make sure you understand what that means.
I think that it means that those people that are giving us those tips and things like that, they're already successful. They already have the why to's in their head. They don't have why not to's in their head right now. So they assume that everyone's in the same position as them. And so like they tell us to do like affirmations and just be positive and do this and that. But they don't realize that we have all these why not to's in our head that are sabotaging all the stuff that they're teaching us to do.
And we remember, go ahead.
I was going to say that's 100% true, because I can tell you when I made it to Emerald in 9 months, and then I was working really closely with a lot of people with the system that I had used to get me there. I was like, why is this so hard, you guys? I don't get it. Like, it was not that hard, you know? How come no one else has done it? I don't get it. And I didn't realize it was a subconscious issue, not a system issue, not an anything tools issue. It was like completely subconscious was the issue. I didn't get that because, you know what I mean? It just made no sense. And that's why you see so many different jewels that train, and they try to, every jewel wants every single ambassador to be a jewel. And so they'll all share their tips and tricks, and they're all so different, completely day and night different from one another. It's because they had the more why to's than why not to's. You know what I mean? And so whatever they chose to do worked for them. And so
Well, here's the thing is that you're actually half right. We do have a lot of why to's. And actually, subconsciously, we have more why to's than we have why not to's. Because if you sit there and say, you're not going to sit there and say, I don't want to be successful. You're never going to say all those negative things about yourself because you don't want to believe that, because we all really do want to succeed, but for some reason we're not. And that's where the iceberg. Do you guys remember the iceberg in the last chapter? Mm-hmm. Does someone want to explain the iceberg to us again? If someone knows what that means.
Brandy's typing.
Brandy says it's the fear of why not to that's holding people back. So the iceberg is, there's just a little tiny top at the bottom, but there's this giant iceberg underneath the bottom, meaning our subconscious. That's everything underneath. That's our why not to's. Those are all the things that are stopping us, that are making us put a brake on it. And because we think we have more why to's, which are the things that make us do what we do, that we want to do every day. We think we have more, but actual reality, when we have our foot on the brake, we have a huge iceberg of why not, things that are stopping us from doing what we're supposed to be doing. And so that's why traditional success programs don't work, because they're just showing you how to succeed. Okay. So I always like this quote, and I might ask you what I'm going to ask somebody to tell us what it means. You can never solve a why-to problem with a how-to solution. What do you guys think? You can never solve a why-to problem with a how-to solution. What do you guys think that means?
I think a lot of it basically is dependent upon, we may have desires and things that we want, but if we don't believe it and we have that lack of belief internally, there's this constant arguing going on. Like if I say, I really want to be a jewel, I really do, that 90% of the iceberg is going, are you kidding me? You can't do that. So it's this internal chatter that is constantly undermining the goals and the dreams that we have. And I think no matter how you equip yourself for success, it's never going to happen if you keep telling yourself you can't do it. So that's kind of simplifying it, but it's just that battle between what you want and what you don't believe you can accomplish. And I think throwing the how-tos of it are not going to solve that, because it's a deeper issue.
So we have our...
Way to go, Amy.
That's awesome. We have these why-to problems. This is like getting us to do what we want to do. It's saying that just just because how to is like the actual physical of actually doing an action. It's saying that if you keep doing the action, it's not going to solve the why to do that. It's something deeper. It's the subconscious. It's the stuff that's stopping us, like Amy said, that's from doing what we want to do. And so you can't, that's why when people are telling you, do this, do 5, reach out to 5 people a day, do this and this and this, and then believe that you can do it, and then do this and this and this. And those things aren't working with us. We're doing those how-tos. We're doing them every single day, but for some reason we're not seeing the results. And that's that why-to problem. So that's what they're saying. You can't solve that why-to problem with a how-to solution. So if you're holding yourself back, you don't have a problem in how to do. You have a problem in a why-to and why not to problem. So this book is going to really like break you open and really figure out like some deep-rooted issues that you might have about yourself. And so it's kind of a hard journey. I don't know if any of you guys have gotten far enough in the book, but finding out some of these things about yourself, it's not something that's like a very, I don't know, like fun thing. I don't know if anyone else had that problem too.
No idea what you're talking about. No, something that I have found that, the whole concept of affirmations to me has been utterly life-changing. It has revolutionized my life. And what it has made me do, and what I have been committed to doing, is listening to myself talk to myself. So, I think we can make ourselves more aware of what we're saying internally. And so I drive everybody at work nuts, because when I hear them talking bad about themselves, just these little short kind of nasty remarks, I'm a hot mess. Or we're constantly saying things to ourselves that are undermining who we want to be.
Exactly.
And I am becoming much more aware of when I say that to myself, and I just throw affirmations out there. When a thought starts coming to mind, like, I was struggling with IPAs because I've never really done IPAs. And, so I start getting into this fear mode of, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to keep up. I'm not where everybody else is. And I just immediately start pumping out affirmations. And I think that is what will strengthen our why too, is if I say, why am I so amazing at remembering to do my IPAs every day? For me, it's retraining my brain. It's retraining that 90% of me that has been undermining me for most of my life. It's retraining it. And I think the more aware we can be of all that head trash going on, the more we can start strengthening our why to's and addressing and obliterating our why not to's.
Have you read the book?
Not all of it.
Have you read, like in the I think it's in like
I'm in chapter 6,
okay,
I have to say. Yes. Yeah. So I'm working on it, but I'm so, I've just been trying to keep up with the daily challenges. So,
Tracy, are you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say that Amy has this way about her that just like shines a light. When I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago, we met for lunch, and it was just like the way she explained the affirmations. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a counseling session. It was like awesome. So it was really great to have that sort of like meeting. It was very meaningful. And so we're on the thread for the team for our Maui thread, and Amy's got some great ones going on in the thread. She'll put out affirmations like daily. It's wonderful. So it's really fun to have that. So it's life-changing. It definitely is.
I agree.
I've noticed that too. I started with the affirmations first at work, because reading the book, they were talking about how it changes your life and it really puts a new perspective on things. And I'm a surgical coordinator for an ophthalmologist office, and I looked at the schedule for the next day and I thought, I don't want to go. It looks like it's going to be awful. It was just really busy. So the whole drive to work, I kept telling myself, why is this day going to be easier? Why am I good at this job? why is this day going to go smoothly? And it ended up going really smoothly. It wasn't as bad as it looked at all. So I started doing those at work first and then applying it to Plexus. And it really does make a big difference.
I think if I could just add one other thing, I think the power of the affirmations is us finding the solutions to our head trash rather than somebody else telling us what we need to do. So
Yes.
the idea that by asking yourself a question, it forces your brain to find an answer, rather somebody saying, well, you need to think like this instead, or you really ought to look at it like this. You're going, oh, okay, but you still have that internal trash going, not me, I can't ever do that. You know, so when we are using our brain to find the answers and the solutions, it's much more powerful than getting a tool, you know, that someone can superimpose on you, for me.
Yeah, so I think like the week coming. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, say that. So, go ahead, Brandy. Sorry.
So I want to just build off of that. Hi, guys. I don't get to come to these often. It sucks, but I work as a health coach now full time, and my computer shut down and is broken, so I'm here. Make the best of it, right? Okay, but anyways, so what Amy said is amazing, and I feel like a lot of the time what happens and why we get torn down, be it your affirmation or affirmation, affirmations suck, throw them away. But we all know that now, right? Because affirmations are way better and way more empowering. But a lot of the time we're doing these whys, hows, all that, because we're overwhelmed. We're projecting our visions and everything so far into the future that it makes us regress in the moment. Like, we don't want to do this because it's overwhelming thinking about the million things we have to do to get to diamond, right? So I was teaching one of my health coach classes, and a fellow coach said, just talking to another member, focus on the next 24 hours. And if you can't, and enjoy the things you dread, and if you can't find joy in them, find a lesson. And I thought that paired up really well with just the whole affirmation things, because it's in those same moments when you're getting overwhelmed and you're getting really frustrated, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And your head starts going to all those nasty things. You have to find a lesson in it. And then from that lesson, you can create an affirmation. So when I had that epiphany, I was like, whoa, super big deal. So maybe try that too. Like, when you're frustrated and you're like overwhelmed with things, find the joy in it. So like, yeah, IPAs are frustrating. We all don't like them at times, right? Like, I know I dread the hours sometimes, but what's the joy in it? And when you find why are my IPAs joyful today, it might help you get through them and might help the whole process get a little bit better if you quit thinking so far ahead. That's it.
And I love that. Thanks. That's the reason why, I mean, these chapters, the chapter that I'm really going over is just really just kind of talking about trying to figure out our why not to's and like what's stopping us from, and finding those specific tools that are going to help us. And affirmations is going to be one of them that we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come. And there's going to be, I mean, affirmations, I know it seems like everyone keeps going to those, but there are like 6 or 7 other steps that are just as important as those affirmations that we're going to be doing, that we need to implement. Because if we're not doing all of them, then we don't have all the tools to get that nail into the wall that we really, really need. And so this whole book is going to send us on this journey of trying to figure out what's stopping us, what's making us put our foot on this brake, and what's going to propel us to have everything that we've ever wanted, whether it's like, you know, plexus related or non-plexus related. Like, the great thing about this book is this can apply to every aspect in your life. Mothers, wives, grandchildren, families, work, whatever can apply to anything. And that's why I really, really like these beginning chapters, because it's a really opener to figure out like what's stopping us from doing and learning that we're actually doing pretty good right now. Like, we have been given all the tools that we need to succeed. So it's not a how-to to do all this. We don't have any of those problems. We have everything that we need. We just need to figure out what is stopping us. It's the head trash. It's the mental stuff. It's the other stuff that's stopping us from being successful, because we know how to be successful in plexus. We've been given all the tools, and we've been told over and over again what we need to do, whether we don't want to do them or not. But we have all the steps that we need to. You know, they talk about a couple different things here. Like, they tell us in traditional success, like, Set your goals, do something, evaluate, and try again. Those are like constant things that we are told that we need to do too. But what happens with those traditional things is that we have these 4 steps in the real world that actually, those steps we try to do, but this is what really, really happens. So the first one is, real quick, because we're running out of time. The first step is the fog. We don't really know what we want or what we have. We fear. That kind of, with setting your goals, we have the fog, I don't think I can get what I want, or worse is, what if I get it and I'm not happy? It's that fog. We don't really know what we want, okay? The second one is treadmilling, okay? Like in the matching in the real world, let's do something, okay? It's where everyone knows what a treadmill is, right? You're on a treadmill working, but you're not getting anywhere. And that happens to us. We do things every day, but we're either not doing the right things or there's something stopping us from doing that. So that's the treadmill. We're busy. We say we don't have any time or whatever. Those are, the third one is the worst one, which is kind of sad, is we feel like a failure, okay? And I just wanted to see this. In traditional success programs, they said to set your goals. Well, we don't really know what we want, so we got fog. Then they told us to do something. Well, we're really busy, aren't we? So we treadmill, and then we're told to evaluate our progress. Well, what's our subconscious evaluation of our progress? That's the feel of failure, and that is so huge. Is because we do all these steps and we're not getting there, and so we feel like crap. Really, we feel bad. We feel like a failure. We're not doing all the stuff that we want so bad, and nothing happens. We're not hitting our goals. And so what do? We try again, because we are hard workers. We're motivated. We want to succeed, but that feel of failure is huge. But like I said, we're hard workers. We want to succeed. So that's kind of like what the chapter's all about, is like, we are given all these steps to do what we're supposed to do, but in the real world, like, there's so much head trash that we've been talking about, so many things that's stopping us and putting on a break. And that's what we're going to be learning about in this chapter. So that's why, in this book. And that's why this book is going to be seriously life-changing if you actually do the work, do what they say, and implement in your life. And it can really, really change things for you if you do the work. So, because you can read the book over and over again, but if you don't do the work, it's not going to work. And so we have this huge gift that, it's going to help us succeed in anything that we want in life. And we have that opportunity. We just have to take it. We just have to follow the steps, follow along the book, and do what it says. So we're super lucky with that. So last thing, it says, if you want to reach your full potential, you don't need any more how to succeed information, guys, because you already have it all, okay? And we're going to be learning as in the weeks on what we need to do to get those right tools, okay? And he's going to show us exactly how to do it, which we're pretty lucky to have that gift. So all right, guys. Sorry, I kind of went over.
Oh, totally.
Is there any other comments?
Totally okay. That was so great. In fact, I'm going to share
Yeah.
this recording with the whole team and say, if you guys don't get why we're like raving about this book, watch this recording, because it was really great conversation that really, points out the whole purpose of this. I don't think it's just a book. I feel like it's a life training.
Yeah.
It's the missing puzzle piece that we've all been looking for. Do you guys realize that you have that now? Like, I expect all of you to be jewels in the next year if you apply these exercises. And I say that with full confidence, because I have no doubt if you apply all these exercises, every one of you could be in Maui next year. So let's do it. Thanks for that amazing overview, Janille, and all of the great comments. You guys are awesome. Even if you didn't comment out loud, I hope it really meant a lot to you and you're internalizing things. So thanks for joining us, and everyone have a great week. Next week we have, isn't it Amy? Amy up with chapter 3? Yep. Excited for that. Okay, guys, now we start exercises, right?
Yep.
So,
no, it's not until chapter 4.
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, there's one more chapter, I think. Yeah. Its exercises aren't, I mean, there may be some exercises. No.
Amy, are there any exercises in 3 that you know of yet? Have you looked?
No, there's not. It just it's kind of talking to, like, starting us off into the exercises.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's going to, like, reveal, like, the opening introduction to the secrets.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still foundation building.
So I have a question. I have a question before we go. I listened to the Audible the first time, and in Audible he would mention in your journal, answer these questions. Is there a journal book we're supposed to have, or is it just me writing the questions?
He just recommended that you start journaling. So as you're doing your, as you're kind of getting new thoughts, once you start doing the exercises, write them down. So I think he's just recommending journaling. It's not a requirement.
Spots in the book,
even in the book, it has it. I mean, I wouldn't write it in my book. I write it in like a different notebook, but it does say ask questions and then write 5 different things in it. So, I mean,
I think you write in your book. A lot more room than what's in the book. So just a separate journal for sure.
A separate journal. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Everyone have a great week. Love you guys.
Thanks. Bye. See you next week.